What's up everybody, it's Sean here and I am back today to give you guys a review of the New Balance 991 V2 from the Brights Revival Pack in this yellow colorway. So this is the second of two colorways from New Balance's 991 V2 Brights Revival Pack. Releasing alongside the dazzling blue colorway, I actually reviewed that colorway already on my channel. That was uploaded a couple days back. So if you've already seen that video, for the most part, this video is going to be exactly the same, obviously with the main difference between the two videos being that colorway is blue and this one is officially labeled as yellow. So these have already released in Europe, and as of right now, I'm not sure if there's going to be an actual North American release, but I'd imagine that eventually they're going to make their way across the ocean. So these retailed for a price of $250 US, but if I had to guess, I'd assume that they'd have the same retail price here in North America, which is approximately $250 US or $325 here in Canada. The official colorway for this shoe is actually yellow, silver, and alloy, but in real life, the predominant color on this shoe is much more of an orange tone as opposed to yellow. So it's interesting why they label it as yellow, but hey, that's just New Balance and their official naming system. And the style code for this shoe, before I forget, it's U991YE2, which I assume stands for yellow. And this pair, just like any other New Balance 991 V2, is made in New Balance's England factory in Flimby. So the New Balance 991 V2 is an update of the iconic New Balance 991. And the overall look of this shoe, while similar to the 991, is much more of a sleek appearance, giving it more of a modern vibe. And the tech within the shoe is significantly upgraded as well. So jumping right into the details of this shoe, on the toe box you can see the base layer here. This is covered in this mesh layer in this herringbone style pattern. And like I said earlier, in real life this is much more of an orange tone as opposed to yellow. Right above this we have this reflective silver panel, and then overlaid on both sides of the toe box we have this synthetic nubuck in this tonal orange color. Surrounding the front toe cap we have this genuine pig suede, which feels very nice to the touch, and this covers the entire mid panel of the shoe. The top two eyelets are crafted using a gray colored TPU, and then stitched on top of the mid panel we have the New Balance N logo, which is done in this reflective silver 3M. Moving downwards you can see we have more of that mesh that we saw on the toe box. This covers the ankle collar area, and then wrapping around the bottom of the heel we have more of that orange colored pig suede. We have this oval shaped cutout on the lateral side, revealing this reflective 3M panel with 991 branding embroidered across in white. And then in the middle of the heel we have another synthetic nubuck layer with V2 branding embroidered in the middle, and then we have more of that synthetic nubuck on the very top of the heel. On the bottom we have this gray colored TPU heel clip, which gives you additional structure and support for the back end of the sneaker. And then as far as the laces go, so this pair comes with two different lace options. The standard lace that they come with is a flat style gray lace. That's the one that I personally prefer because it gives the shoe a little bit more contrast. But if you want more of a tonal look, they also give you an orange colored lace as well. Underneath this, the majority of the tongue is crafted using that herringbone style mesh that we saw on the toe box. We have this overlay on the top though, with V2 branding in the middle, and New Balance Made in England 991 branding embroidered on the top of the tongue. The back of the tongue and the interior of the shoe, this is covered in a gray colored liner, which matches the color of the laces. And then same thing with the insole, so these come with a foam lined insole. It's lined in this gray finish on top, and we have New Balance running branding pressed onto the heel. So the upper of the 991 V2, this sits atop this chunky midsole, which is crafted out of various New Balance technologies. So for the most part, the midsole is crafted using New Balance's fuel cell foam technology, which is one of their top cushioning systems found in New Balance running shoes. And in addition to fuel cell, we also have New Balance's N-cap technology, which is a dual density foam setup, giving the shoe a little bit more structure and support around the outer edges. And last but not least, we have New Balance's Absorb SBS technology. These are these translucent pods visible on the forefoot and the heel of the midsole, and this is there in place to help with impact protection and shock absorption. Finally, turning the pair over to the bottom, so we have this two-tone rubber outsole done in a mix of black and gray. We have these grooves to give you added flexibility, and then running down the center, this white portion here, this is just exposed fuel cell foam. So that breaks down the look and the construction of this pair. And for those wondering about sizing, to me these fit like any other New Balance 991 V1 or V2. So I personally stick true to size, and I got these in a size 10. So my foot measures as a true size 10, slightly on the wider side, meaning when I go to a sneaker store, step on a branding device, I'm actually a size 10 in between a D and an E width. So getting these in my normal 991 size, I could feel a little bit of pressure around the ball of my foot right here. So that's a common issue with the 991, and it's carried forward onto the 991 V2. So if you have a really wide foot, unfortunately the 991, whether it's V1 or V2, it's not going to be a great option for you. But for everyone else, I feel like going true to size, you should be okay. This shoe is built a little bit more on the longer side and a bit more narrow on the toe box. So when I got these true to size, there was just over an index finger's width space between the top of the shoe and the top of my toe. If you're someone that likes a really snug one-to-one exact fit, and if you have a narrow foot, you may be able to go half size down, aka your normal made in USA New Balance size. But again, for everyone else or for most people, just stick true to size and you should be okay, assuming you don't have a really wide foot. To give you guys a point of comparison, I also wear a size 10 in other New Balance silhouettes like the New Balance 1500, the 2002R, 860 V2, and 1906R. And in comparison, I go a half size down to a 9.5, and a lot of New Balances made in USA models like the 992, 993, the 990 V3, V4, V5, and V6. Moving on to the comfort, so this shoe is actually a pretty comfortable shoe, but I feel like it's one that requires a little bit more break-in time than some of New Balance's other models. So straight out of the box, like I mentioned earlier, I could feel a little bit of pressure around the ball of my foot. So I'd imagine that over time and with more wear, this portion will kind of widen up and accommodate the width of my foot. But the underfoot feeling I felt was pretty comfortable. It's a pretty good balance of softness with the fuel cell foam, while still giving you a lot of support and structure because of the end cap and Absorb SBS. So it's not going to be an overly soft, bouncy, and wobbly feeling sneaker, for example like the 990 V6. That model straight out of the box feels a lot more bouncy and dynamic already, whereas this one, like I said, it feels like it requires a little bit more break-in time. But other people have attested that once they really break in this shoe, it becomes arguably their most comfortable New Balance sneaker. So that's definitely a good sign for those of you guys who plan on really breaking this shoe in. Finally, in terms of the quality and craftsmanship, so first off, the material quality was just in line with your typical made in England New Balance sneaker. So we have genuine pig suede, which felt very nice to the touch. There are synthetic materials on this shoe, but that's kind of typical with most New Balance shoes. And the build of the shoe, I thought it was good. It wasn't flawless. Had some slight discoloration or almost like scuff marks to them, which I imagine happened when they were in the box in transit. And the stitch job on my pair wasn't perfect. There were some extra long threads that I had to trim down myself. But other than that, it was pretty well put together. The panels were pretty consistent between my left foot and right foot, and there weren't any obvious glue stains that I could see. So again, it wasn't flawless, but it was decent. So with all that out of the way now, let's toss these on feet. I'll lace them up for you and I'll show you guys how these look. This is a great bold colorway to wear in the upcoming spring and summer months. Is it as bold as the blue colorway? Definitely not. I think the dazzling blue pair really is the more eye-catching pair of the two. But in contrast, this one is a little bit more subtle because it's a bit more of a dull orange, as opposed to being an overly vibrant orange. So it makes the shoe a little bit more wearable in that sense. But it comes down to personal preference at the end of the day. Are you more of a blue colored person or more of an orange or yellow colored person? That really is what it comes down to. I honestly think both colorways are very solid, and I know the retail price of these pairs are extremely high, but hopefully these eventually become discounted. Especially here in Canada, that $325 Canadian price point is just obscenely high, but that's the price you pay for getting a made in England shoe. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about this yellow or orange or pumpkin or whatever you want to call it, the New Balance 991 V2. What are your thoughts on this colorway? For anyone watching, did you pick up a pair of these? Are you waiting for these to drop in North America or potentially go on sale? Or it's just not your thing and it's an easy pass for you? As usual, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on Instagram at esco8. Check me out on X or Twitter at sean.go spelt out, and visit my website at seango.ca. So thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one.